Hello, good morning. It is time to work on our topic 15 assessment practice for tomorrow's test. You should be on page 811 in your math book, and you can probably go ahead and tear that out so that you are ready to put it in your mailbox when we're all done. We've been working really hard on angles and lines and rays and identifying them and measuring angles and all of those good things. And tomorrow will be the day that you can show what you have learned from this topic. So let's go through our review today, checking over the problems. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can do it right along with me as I do the problem, you do the problem. Or maybe a better way to do it would be to you give it a try first and then come watch the particular segment of that question and then go on to the next question. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I have my name on my paper. And I'll be number 30, so make sure you have both of those things up there. And here we go. Let's get off to the start. Okay, all right. What is the measure of the angle below? So I'm looking at this protractor here. The first thing I notice, what type of angle am I looking at? I've got an acute angle here. So because acute angles are smaller and they're less than 90, my answer has to be less than 90. So I'm going to count up from here. 10, 20, 30 is in between 30 and 40. So that makes our answer 35 degrees. Don't pick the big number unless the angle is wide open, obtuse angle. And that's it for number 1. Number 2, Megan needs to find the measures of an angle on a bridge. Just looks a little complicated, but I'm going to take it piece by piece and see what I can do. Find the measure of YXW. YXW is this big angle here. If YXZ is 85. So in here is 85. And ZXW is 40. So inside this angle is 40. And I need to know the big angle. So I know the two little angles, and I need to know the big angle. So it looks like I'm just putting together 85 plus 40. And that's going to give me 125 degrees for angle YXW. All right, so we know the two inside angles. And we're going to add those together. Okay. Zoom in just a little bit there. All right, better. All right, so then we look at part B. Part B says if CAD, so we need to find CAD. CAD, so there's our question mark. If CAB is a right angle, CAB is 90, and DAB is 45. So if I know that that one is 45 and I know the whole thing is 90, I'm going to use subtraction to figure out that piece. So the whole angle is 90. We're going to take away 45. And that should get me 45. So CAD should be a 45-degree angle. Okay? All right, number 3. So far, so good. The last one was a little bit tricky, but I know you guys can do it. Okay. If we divide a circle into 360 equal angles, what is the angle measurement of each angle? And then what term describes this measure? All right, so how much is a whole circle in degrees? 360. If we divide it into 360 parts, divide it into 360 parts, each part is 1 degree. And what do we call that when we have a 1 degree angle? Well, the fancy word for that is called a unit angle. Okay. All right. Now we're going to pick one of these two words. A blank has one endpoint, or a blank has two endpoints. Well, I remember when I was playing Says, that if I was making a line segment, Says line segment meant I put my arms out and I closed both hands. So line segment has two endpoints, and array is going to have one endpoint. Okay? All right. Draw an example of point A, line segment BC, a line DE, an array FG. Ooh, that's a whole lot of things, but I'm going to do them one at a time. Point A. Point. And to give a point a name, we just put a capital letter by it. So that's point A. Line segment BC. A line segment has a dot on one end, a point on one end, and a point on the other. We connect them, and then we label those points. So that's BC. Line DE, we draw a line. Lines have arrows. They go on forever in all directions. We're going to put a point there. We're going to put a point there. And this is DE. And then array FG. That's what array looks like. It's important which order you put rays in. This has to be F. And then we put point G out on that line somewhere. Okay? All right. Number 6. Number 6 has this overlapping right angles. Let's read the whole thing first. Angle JKL is decomposed into two non-overlapping right angles. So this means two right angles that are right next to each other without touching. There's one. There's two. Now we have to start labeling the parts. JKL, K has to be the middle point. There's J. And the two littler angles, because decompose means we break it apart. So this goes JK to M, and then MKL. And it's asking what kind of angle is JKL? So J to K to L. Let's see, is that an acute, right, obtuse, or straight? It's going straight across my paper, so it is a straight angle. Okay, that's it for side 1. You are going to go to the next module page to watch part 2, or actually just click the video below for part 2. Okay, great job on part 1. Flip the paper over and be ready for part 2.